a bit about all the three Baltic countries, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, and their eventual future concerning international transport and logistics. So we are quite many people here, but this is not all who might be listening to us. We are having also this will be broadcast online over the internet, and several vocational schools, both in Estonia and Latvia, have been informed about the possibility to follow this lecture. And really, we do not know exactly right now how many people are watching us, but I'm sure it's more than the number of people we are having here right now. But before the real start and before the moment that I give a floor to Professor Kabashkin, so there will be two videos, or one video, two videos about the Estonia-Latvia-Russia cross-border cooperation program. So we'll watch them. In the beginning, it will be rather quick, and then Professor Kabashkin will start. So please, the videos.
Turn off this line. Oh.
So we're missing the sound.
Sound.
Yeah, we are really missing the sound, but this video is about the achievements of Estonia-Latvia-Russia cross-border cooperation program in the period 2007-2013, and it's supposed to be advertisement of this program. So we'll watch this video to the end. We don't need the other video because it's silent also, perhaps. Okay, so let's give floor over to Professor Kabashkin to talk about the topic.
It's a very pleasure for me that I was invited to Valga and have opportunity to give this small lecture for young people about future development of transport and logistics in our region, Baltic Sea region. Maybe some words about me. I am a professor of Transport and Telecommunication Institute, former president of this institute. Our institute it is private institute and oriented on development of transport academic and research activities, not only in our country, but in Europe as whole. I'm a member of two international organizations, Joint Transport Research Center of two organizations, or OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development of International Transport Forum. This quite official organizations. They prepare future concepts for development in Europe. The central office of this organization is in Paris. It's quite official procedure of meetings. All representatives from all countries, not only European countries, according of alphabet, sit down around this table. the place of Latvia between Japan and Mexico. And as I'm member of European Commission or European Cooperation in Science and Technology, Technical Committee on Transport and Urban Development. That is a more European organization. Usually we meet in Brussels or in Strasbourg, for example, in this Strasbourg Parliament Palace, but you know, maybe this central hall of Parliament Palace. Unfortunately, I was only one time in this placement at the tour, but usually it's quite small rooms as our today, because in this committee participant, one representative from each European countries. It's quite a democratic organization. But why I say about my such kind of activity? Because it is very important, because we prepare and evaluated a project of European Commission in transport and logistics area, in which participated usually 7-8 European countries, and will be carried out during the next 5-6 years. So it's very interesting to know and understand what is the main directions of activity in Europe, first of all, in transport and logistics area. So if we say, and if I discuss with my business partner about such kind of development, sometimes they said, oh, okay, you're academic man, you can give different forecasts. Sometimes they say that I tailors, and I decided why not, why I can't prepare my presentation not in classical business style, but more as a tale, maybe of course modern tale oriented on transport area, but maybe not Taylor, maybe Fortuna Taylor with its cards. She usually say about, first of all, about past. What is the past of Europe? What is the past of our region? If we say at the map, the past of Baltic Sea region is practically the same as we have today. It's the same map, the same roads, the same transport activities. The next is what is today, what is present. What is present today? The present is main transport program, TNT program, Trans-European Transport Networks, with core element of this network, and we tell about the main transport corridors in Europe. If we say about our Baltic countries, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, of course, the most interesting, the main future corridor, Rail Baltica. Do you know about Rail Baltica? Yes, of course, for us it's quite interesting and very important. Another one, it's connection this Rail Baltica together with North directions, because we have good opportunity connect North Sea, Baltic Sea, and Adriatic in this case. And it is very interesting for future new opportunities for all of our countries. Of course, then we say about presence, we must say about main driving forces in transport area. And China, of course, it's the main one. Today there are a lot of typical roads from China to Europe. The main one is the ocean road. You know about this. Some alternative through the Trans-Siberia Railway, but maybe more interesting for future development is the new one, because today western part of China is quite quick developed, and a lot of enterprises built in this part of China. In this case, the road from this part of China to Europe by railway is practically the same that to traditional east part of China. So it's very intensive discussed new opportunity for all participants of this part of Euro-Asian continent about new opportunities for transit routes from China to Europe. And another very important situation today, it's establishment of new custom union of three countries, Belarus, Kazakhstan and Russia. So for our Baltic countries, it's a good opportunity because we now at the border of two large unions, European Union from one side and this custom and economical union of Belarus, Kazakhstan, Russia from another side. It's very interesting and very good opportunities for future. If we say about future, first of all, it is interesting to know about white paper on transport. You know this document? It's the main document in transport area in the European Union. It is forecast of development of transport till 2020. And the title of this document is practically the main goal of transport development, establishment of single European transport area. It's very, very important because all transport projects are oriented on this goal. There are a lot of documents, strategic documents, which oriented on development different types of transport, logistics, special planning till 2020, till 2030, till 2050. And there is one quite important document for us. It's a European strategy for Baltic Sea region. It is, before this, Europe developed only joint European document. And this first one, which oriented on regional development. It's first region for which Europe developed each own strategy. It's very, very important. Very interesting different types forecast and outlooks. For example, International Transport Forum developed its outlook of development of transport. Very interesting special project oriented on development forecast of European freight transport till 2050. And of course, all these questions close to general development of scenario and vision of special planning of territory of Europe and first of all, Baltic Sea region till 2050. But maybe the most important document for us within the frame of this small lecture is Baltic Transport Outlook till 2030, because it's area most interesting for us and our countries included in this area. If we say about strategy of this region, it's very interesting that all three Baltic countries have quite good forecast for development and increase of land-based freight transport. You can see that all our countries, Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia, are in the top of these forecasts. If we say about different modes of transport, there are something another picture. For example, if we say about freight, rail freight, of course, in the region at the top is Russia, because it's the most large network railway. It's the main generator of cargo. For my country, it's very good situation. Yellow, it's situation in 2010. And we can see that Latvia today is the first place in the region. But interesting that practically forecast till 2030 give a good opportunity for all countries. And to decrease the general volume of cargo by railway. It's some reasons for this, but I think that's mainly political reasons. But we also say about different opportunities for all countries in this region. But I would like else give you attention to this delta between former level of cargo and forecast level. Because, for example, for Russia, for Latvia, it's not so large. But look at Sweden, look at Poland, look at Germany, how large development of railway cargo in this country. That is also one interesting moment for the future development. If we say about total development of railway freight in this region, it's quite interesting picture. It's forecast of European Union, and we can see that practically all railway in Europe have green color. It's not so large total volume of freight at these corridors, and only Baltic states, especially Estonia, Latvia, Poland, have yellow and red. It is the largest level of cargo flow by rail. So we have a good perspectives from this point of view, and I think that you have good perspective in logistics and in transport for development of these forecasts. Politicians usually use such kind pictures to show how development, for example, freight transport from year to year. Unfortunately, they not include a factor of crisis, because the real picture quite another. And we know that these factors is very important when we describe the real situation in development of transport and logistics sector in our countries. So interesting what is the driving forces for such kind forecasts. Of course, China is driver number one here. It's geopolitical play number one, because only some pictures. Today in the world, 65 of the existing construction cranes are operating in China. A large building. China is training 12 times more engineers than Germany each year. And every year, China's GDP is growing by amount of equivalent of total GDP of Turkey, which is quite large economy too. Practically, China twice its GDP each 10 years. Russia, it's another interesting moment because forecast of European analytics, the GDP of Russia will be increased dramatically, must be increased dramatically. But of course, they didn't know about Ukraine crisis at this place, because today's situation, I think, will be changed. Else, one key player in this field, it's so-called green instruments of development. Today, in Europe, develop a lot of documents. One of the interesting of them prepared by European Conference of Ministers for Transport about outlook for congestion, not in the road. Usually we say about congestion in at the road, but in inland, maritime, and air transport. We say that today Baltic Sea have congestion. It's crazy, but it's really a problem. So it's very important, a lot of documents that prepare different conceptions that can solve this problem. And one of them, it's the same Rail Baltica. Why? Because if we have this way, Rail Baltica, we have practically a rail ring around the Baltic Sea. It's a new opportunity for distribution of cargo and goods around the Baltic Sea region. It's very important It's a shift to another mode of transport. Today, a lot of conception oriented on green corridors. Green means sustainable transport, means new technology, and so on. Why? Practically, if we say about Baltic Sea, today about 80 ports around Baltic Sea, so we can say more than about 3,000 roads which connected these 80 points. But the dream of European politician to establish only maybe 6 large junctions, or maybe 1 super large and 5 small, which can give opportunity use not as in previous picture this congestion in Baltic Sea region, but more free transportation in Baltic Sea area, but with new opportunity of distribution of cargo, for example, with rail ring about with opportunity of new rails such as Rail Baltica and others. That is new vision of development of our region. Else, a very important moment and a very interesting conception, and during last time we say about this very quickly, so-called new world competition, which combine with 2-1, cooperation and competition at all levels, at a level of states, all states, for example, in Baltic Sea area, at different government organization, at even at the modes of transport and so on. Why? Because if we say about a global picture of transit roads, we say that there are different opportunity for transit cargo from China. But if we say about directions through the Russia and Kazakhstan, it's only one way, through the Moscow on St. Petersburg. But then Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and even Poland try to obtain this transit cargo for transportation to other countries. It's a very interesting situation. It's very similar that I don't know how you knowledge about the Russian tales by Pushkin, for example. No? New generation don't know this tale about Tsar Sultan, that three sisters dream about Tsar Sultan, about a new opportunity for them with Tsar Sultan. I think it's very similar that today 3 sisters, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania have. Of course, the sisters have another image today. They are more sexy, more European, but real situation is the same. 3 countries would like obtain Tsar Sultan, the transit cargo from Russia, from China. What they have for these purposes? First of all, Lithuania. Lithuania established so-called intermodal transport technology platform. It's a very interesting situation. Lithuania, one of the first between all Baltic countries, established such kind platform as some kind crossroad between east and west, north and east. They prepare 2 large European projects: East-West Transport Corridor project, then transformed into a Green Corridor project. The main idea of this corridor to give opportunity cargo flow from Sweden go to Russia and to Belarus and Ukraine. And very interesting sometimes pictures which prepare different countries. For example, if we see this picture, practically Lithuania is center of the globus of the transit road, as we can say. That's very often all Baltic countries show such kind of pictures. But really, Lithuania do a lot in these directions. For example, they prepare different types of transport journal, special research book, and business books, for example, in China language. It's very, very interesting and very proactive in this situation. Lithuania first country which prepare special manual for establish and maintenance of green corridors. It's a very interesting and very important first step in the directions of establish such kind of green corridors. And practically Lithuania only one today which within the general European Union strategy for Baltic Sea region included in action plan as leader of development green corridor network. You can see the same East-West Transport Corridor Association, this Lithuanian association, is a leader partner of this project. For us, it's very important, and the main link from Karlshamn, from Sweden to Klaipėda in Lithuania. So it's very interesting that Lithuania is maybe most active country in the direction of connection east and west. The same, very similar situation in Latvia. Latvia declared itself as a bridge between east and west, first of all, in transport area. Latvia has a good transport infrastructure, good geographical position. Today there are three main ports in Latvia, Liepāja, Ventspils and Riga, and two so-called dry ports, Rezekne and Daugavpils. So it is very good opportunities, and if you remember, so maybe Latvia today have the second place in total rate cargo flow in this region. The lot of idea will be the same as Lithuanian people prepare. For example, Baltic Tangent project, very similar to connect countries. And it's very pleasure for me is that our institute together with Valga Council developed such kind of concept. Unfortunately, they not be accepted by European Commission. But for example, in our country, we continue these ideas within the frame of Cargo 2 project, which in some part realize the same ideas. If we say about Estonia, there may be some another way of development, because Estonia during last time not so active in development of, for example, railway cargo, but they establish quite interesting so-called logistic cluster and oriented more on logistics sector and give new opportunity for added value services. So if today we can see the decrease of total level of cargo flow Estonia, but in the same time we can see the dramatically increase of money flow. That is quite interesting moment that decrease the cargo flow, you increase the money flow. So it's very interesting, and development of this concept, I think my colleagues give you more precise and more wide, because it's quite a new experience, and maybe it's more important than simple increase cargo flows in this region. Else one tale about Seventh Fat Man by Alexander Pushkin, where hero asked of mirror about am I the place of the S, fairest with most verse. What is the criteria? Who will be better in this situation? Today, there is quite interesting investigation which carried out by World Bank each 2 years, and the last one was in these years. It's give result of logistic performance indexes for all countries of the world. It's a good rating for understand what place in logistics your country take in this common global rating. And if we say, and if you saw the picture with this last rating, we can see that all Baltic states have quite good position, practically the similar, not far from the Finland, for example, or with Poland, and practically the same as China one. If we compare with previously one, we can see that Baltic countries give the most large increasing of this logistic performance, the level of this logistic performance indexes. But if we speak about transit routes from China to Europe and say about this railway transit routes, we must understand that from China with logistic performance index 28 to Baltic states is about 30, we must cross 2 countries, Russia and Kazakhstan, with rating 3 times more than this one. That is practically logistic maintenance, and that is point to discuss, a point to prepare new project and new opportunity to decrease this gap. If we say about transportation in the world, we of course must tell about balance between globalization and regionalization. If we say about globalization, first of all, we must say that unfortunately Europe lose its position in the world trade. Some pictures. Tourism. Tourism forecast till 2050 decrease 3 times. General GDP decreased 2 times. General population in Europe decreased 2 times. It's first one very important for Europe point. The second one is shift of center of economic gravity. During last International Transport Forum, there are a lot of discussion about this fact. If we say about 1980, the economic center of gravity will be in Atlantic. Today, we may say that it's shift to Middle East, but forecast till 2050 shows that it will be moved at the border between India and China. It is change general situation with transportation in the world. So it's very important understand this fact and use this new opportunity for development our local national economy, our local national transport systems. One of the first countries that understand this situation was Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan prepared a new concept of new Silk Way that oriented not only on traditional discussed level through the Kazakhstan, Russia to Europe, but else through Turkey to another direction. So it's quite interesting from the point of diversification of risks. Else one, Taylor, about the turnip. Know this, Taylor? Yes. Turnip is transit for our countries. Yes, and this grandfather, grandmother, and other animals, included mouse, is only logistic chains in these global transit roads. So not Kazakhstan as one state, not any other state cannot decision in this positive decision in these questions. All countries must participate together to solve this global problem. And it is very important to understand that logistics today is not sector. Logistics is a large economic activity. It's important impact on wide range of actors, business, consumers. It is some kind of general environment and social issue. So if we say about the second part of this balance, regionalization, first of all, interesting that, for example, European Logistics Association tell about that supply chain regionalization is the top during last 10 years. It's very interesting because then we discuss about competition. We must say about both of these factors, cooperation and competition. Yes, really, we have competition between Baltic countries for the Russian cargo, from one side. From second, we have cooperation between all of them in the Rail Baltica project with new opportunity of this Rail Baltic. The same situation in Nordic countries. Today, a large development has so-called Nordic Triangle. And if we say at the transport map of the Baltic Sea countries, we can say that we have practically two similar directions of transport, and we have real competition between Baltic from one side and northern countries from another side for Baltic Adriatic corridor. So how many levels both cooperation and competition at this small territory? Of course, then we say about transport policy, about development of transport policy, we say about different factors. And in the tale of Cinderella, who will be this prince for our countries? Who will be this rich man? We will dance with China, or maybe with Russia, but maybe with Sweden. One. I don't know. Clearly, maybe each country choose its one prince, but yes. But in any case, the transport is one of the main driving in the Sea region, and I think that today you have a right choose, because if we in former time said what did you do for transport, today we can say that you are still alive only because you are something doing for transport, especially in our Baltic Sea region. That is maybe a small review. Thank you for attention.
I'll try this. Okay, hopefully it works. Thank you very much, Professor Kabashkin. Now, do you have any questions about this lecture? This lecture was very interesting. It was on more global level that you usually have studies here. But anyway, I think it gives a wonderful overview about what we are having here and what might happen in the future. But do you have any questions? Okay. Well, I have one question. You mentioned it also. So having a great big neighbor to the east from us, Russia, I mean,
yeah.
Do you think we make use of this fact that our neighbor is really a large country? Do you think we make use of this fact very well here in the Baltic states? Or just should we change something? Should we continue? Sorry, it's a bit political question.
Yes. In any case, I think that not may, but must use, because it's a lot of opportunity. It's a very rich country. And of course, especially in today's situation, we have some kind of additional opportunity for trade with this country, and to use our transport infrastructure for development of our economical relations. So I sure that it is a good opportunity for us as border countries of European Union, first of all.
Okay, thank you. Do you have also now some more questions about? Yes, please. Just a moment, I'll come to you.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Misha. I'm from Georgia. And I have read yesterday some of your publications, and there is very interesting question for me you have, and I have these questions to you about regionalization and globalization. Who will be the winner in this situation?
I think that will be not winner. That must be some balance. I better say maybe about globalization in transport area and regionalization of logistics. That is maybe more correct.
Okay, I'll just help with the microphone up here.
Thank you for the nice presentation. Really interesting to hear about the Baltic transportation. I have a question that if you talk about the Baltic transportation, Estonia-Latvia-Russia, are we more competitors or are we doing more cooperation? And the second question is that we saw that the main means of transportation is road transportation. How can we develop the other means of transportation in Baltic area? Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. First answer, I try to show that in the same times we both cooperators and competitors in this region. Of course, at local level, we more competitors, but generally, I think we have a good opportunities, according of your questions, to obtain large partners for our east partners from Russia, because it's too large opportunities for each of our one countries. From my point of view, we must cooperate to obtain these large cargo, these large economic opportunities. And in this case, all our states are in cooperation. The second question here about another modes of transport. I think it's more interesting, of course, cooperate in maritime sector, because today we have also a new concept and a new large project, motorway project named Motorway at the Sea. Yes, you maybe know about this project, and it is new opportunities for harmonization of maritime transport sector in Baltic Sea region, and all our countries can together participate in this, because for us it's very interesting, because we have the same goal in this global project. So else one questions where we can cooperate, not in competition.
Okay, any more questions? I have one, if I may. Well, you know this sulfur directive of the European Union. Well, No, it's wider than that, but it concerns Baltic Sea very much because from the next year, so fuels for vessels have to be changed. And do you think this factor, this sulfur directive, does it have an impact also on transport and logistics here for us?
Yes. I think that it may have dramatically changed in our region, yes, because practically this directive may dramatically increase tariffs for maritime shipping. And why we more and more say about railway, that really this mode of transport can be competitive with shipping one. So I think the results will be quite interesting and difficult forecast the results, because I know that a lot of shipping company today included in his budget special financial penalty for the not use this directive in his real development. So yes, that is interesting changing point in the future since 2015.
Thank you. Now, are there any more questions? No? All right, then we thank Professor Kabashkin very much for an interesting lecture. I also hope that those who followed this lecture online via the internet are also quite happy that they could hear this interesting lecture. And I wish you all so very good continuation with the studies in logistics area, and hopefully we'll have a chance to greet some more interesting lecturers here in our school as well. But thank you very much and have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. It's coming soon, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. And then next week we'll continue with our studies again. Thank you.
Thank you, and I would like, I wish all the best for our new generation in the future. Thank you.